There are many types of clocks around us. Clocks usually run in the right to left direction, and it's called clockwise. The opposite of it is anti-clockwise. But have you ever wondered why it's always clockwise? What will happen if clocks go anti-clockwise? Will we say that the clock is wrong? Let's say the clock is numbered from left to right, and the hands of the clock go anti-clockwise. The time would still be correct, right? Then why do all clocks run in one particular direction? Let's go back in time to find the answer to 14th century, when many mechanical clocks were invented. Nowadays, we use smart devices, so we measure every second accurately. But in those days, people didn't need this accuracy. And they only needed to know how long it took to complete a task. So, they used a sand clock. Sand clocks are made of two glass bulbs with sand inside them. The time taken for sand to pass from one bulb to another is the measurement of time. Sand clocks don't have a standard format. It can be 1 minute, 15 minutes, or 1 hour. The unit depends on who needs it. There are no records of when sand clocks were invented, but they have been around since the 8th century. Next is the water clock. Can you believe the water clock was used before 3,400 years? There are two types of water clocks. Type 1, the shifting of water from one bowl to another was considered the measurement of time. Type 2. It's called Persian clock, where a small bowl with a small hole was placed in a bigger container, and the time taken for the small bowl to fill and submerge was the measurement of time. Persian clocks were said to be more accurate than the other water clocks. There were designated timekeepers to measure and maintain time. This was set up in a tower-like structure, and every time a bowl was submerged in the Persian clock method, a stone was dropped as a measurement of time. So, people calculated time by the number of stones dropped and planned their work accordingly. Some countries even use candles to mark time. And some other countries used oil lamps to mark time. But the only clock that was present through many civilizations was the sundial. Our clocks are direct descendants of the sundial. The sundial was calibrated based on the country and place it was being placed. But to know the workings of the sundial, we need to know a little geography. Does the Earth rotate clockwise or anti-clockwise? From the North Pole, it seems to rotate anti-clockwise, and from the South Pole, the Earth would seem to rotate clockwise. So, the direction of shadow changes in the northern and southern hemispheres. The shadow rotates clockwise in the northern hemisphere and anti-clockwise in the southern hemisphere. Clocks were invented in European countries, so their shadow direction became the standard one, hence clockwise. In India, the wheels around the Konark Sun Temple in Odisha were used as sundials. Raja Jai Singh too had interests in math, astronomy, and architecture, so he built 5 big sundial structures in different places around India, and they are said to be the biggest sundials in the world. Jaipur, Delhi, Varanasi, Ujjain, Mathura. So, what about the people at the equator? They had a different instrument to measure the time that didn't take into account the north or south. Some clocks in the southern hemisphere do run in the anti-clockwise direction. The Congress clock in Bolivia is numbered in reverse and runs anti-clockwise. There are anti-clockwise clocks in Brazil and Tunisia. I hope now you understand why clock rotate clockwise.